Surf Coaster Leviathan at Sea Paradise in Yokohama, Japan is one of the most underrated roller coasters in the world in my opinion. I went in expecting a tame scenic ride over the water, but much to my amazement, it was better than Kawasemi, the Intamin Megalight I rode just a few days prior. This coaster packed a deceptive punch. Built by Togo, Surf Coaster opened in 1993 with Sea Paradise. This park is a hybrid aquarium and amusement park, and today, this is the park's lone roller coaster. At first glance, Surf Coaster looks like your average Japanese jet coaster. A jet coaster is a coaster model common in Japan. This model is known for having gradual drops and gradual turns, prioritizing the setting and visuals over the forces. And I mistakenly thought Surf Coaster was a jet coaster, as it has an excellent setting. The coaster is partially built out over the water. But this coaster is a tour de force with airtime, laterals, and positive Gs. In fact, the double out and back layout reminds me more of a wood coaster in terms of its layout and ride elements. And it's a really long ride too, with 4,170 feet of track or 1,271 meters of track. Despite Togo not being known for smooth rides in America, Surf Coaster is also a very smooth ride. One of the most important changes this coaster underwent was in 2014. The coaster received brand new trains, which replaced the old over-the-shoulder restraints with lap bars. The coaster's name was also changed from just Surf Coaster to Surf Coaster Leviathan. One warning I have to give about these trains though is that they are extremely unaccommodating for taller guests. I am 5'10", and I had to cross my legs to even fit on this coaster, so I shudder to think what would happen if someone larger went on this ride. One of the most unaccommodating adult coasters I can think of in the United States is Nickelodeon Universe's Nickelodeon Slime Street, but even that one I had way more room than compared to Surf Coaster. I can't even think of a kiddie coaster in the US I've had to cross my legs on to fit. This riding position was not the most comfortable, but it was well worth it in order to ride Surf Coaster. Like many Japanese parks, you cannot select your seat in Surf Coaster. After my dozen rides in Surf Coaster, I found that I preferred sitting towards the back for the airtime of the coaster's largest drops. Surf Coaster begins with a surprisingly tall 144 foot tall or 44 meter tall lift. And because the coaster's out over the water, the views are fantastic. And atop this lift, there's a slow 180 degree turn that allows you to take in this view for even a few more seconds before the craziness starts. Surf Coaster kicks things off with a solid first drop. This drop doesn't drop all the way down to the water. Rather, I'd estimate it drops roughly 60 or so feet. It's one of 3 larger drops you'll find on the ride. If you're sitting towards the back, the first drop gives a good pop of airtime. That's followed by a giant camelback giving a nice pop of airtime for everyone, regardless of where you're sitting. The pull-out from this drop subtly banks to the right, but it's not banked enough, so you get a brief jolt of laterals. This is an element that I imagine would have been a headbanger with the old trains and old restraints, but with the lap bar trains, the abrupt transition was very enjoyable and I very much like those laterals. You then rise up into a helix, getting a tiny pop of airtime if you're sitting up front. You then traverse a 900 degree downwards helix. It starts off rather slow, but by the end, you're zipping through this element, which results in some shockingly strong positive Gs. Up next is this bizarrely profiled S-hill. The ascent and drops are straight, but at the top and bottom of the hill are this sudden and janky twist. With all that speed from the helix, you get another good pop of airtime atop this hill no matter where you're sitting. At the same time, you're thrown to the left from the intense laterals. Then on the pull-out from the drop, you're thrown to the right. The rapid combination of airtime, laterals to the left, and laterals to the right made me feel like a rag doll. That's followed by the fourth drop, and this one is similar in size to the first drop, but the floater airtime is more sustained this time because you crest the hill with some decent speed. Then comes the second helix, a very forceful 540 degree upwards helix. I started to gray out in some of my rides from this helix's force. Of the ride's 3 helixes, this is the most intense one. At this point, Surf Coaster flies over the 5th drop, which I believe is the largest on the entire ride. And this drop delivers some incredible ejector airtime if you're sitting towards the back. I think it's the best airtime moment in all of Japan because of how abrupt it is. It reminded me of the mid-course drop on Ghost Rider or the 5th drop on the Raven because of its placement in the middle of the ride and how it kicks off a wild second half. and the airtime is really strong as well. Immediately after this drop, Surf Coaster zooms over this tiny little speed hill, and it felt similar to the speed hills and RMCs after the first drops. You get an abrupt pop of ejector airtime no matter where you're sitting. But not only that, you also have this terrifying head chopper with a support mere feet above your head. You then twist up into another helix, getting another quick jolt of laterals on the way up. And this downwards 540 degree helix is another forceful one with some sustained positive G's the whole way down. It's a smidge less intense than the second helix. The exit from this helix is its elongated gradual upward slope, but it eventually leads into a small dip that gives a quick pop of airtime if you're sitting towards the back. That's followed by a bunny hill that gives some nice floater airtime regardless of where you're sitting. You then swoop around a speed turn and fly over one last drop, giving back row riders another dose of ejector airtime. You then abruptly rise up into the brake run, giving everyone one last wild pop of ejector airtime. And like the speed hill, you also have this wicked head chopper with the track above you. After each of my rides, I hit the brake run speechless. How could this coaster, no one talks about, deliver such an awesome ride? I thought all Togos were supposed to be bad and rough. So what would I rate Surf Coaster Leviathan? I would give this Togo a 9 out of 10. Every single hill either offers laterals and or airtime. The helixes are very forceful, and it's a very long ride too. Combine that with the wonderful setting out over the water, and you have a recipe for success. And one of the most underrated things about this coaster is the pacing. Since Surf Coaster never drops the entire length of its height, you are continuously building up speed on each pass through the layout. And the ride gets more intense as it goes. It starts off with floater airtime and laterals before throwing strong positive Gs and several ejector airtime hills at riders. This coaster is shockingly one of my favorites in all of Japan. The only ones I definitely place ahead of it are Egenika, Flying Dinosaur, and Steel Dragon 2000. This coaster is neck and neck with Pyrenees for me for 4th place. And shockingly, I preferred it to some of the Intamin creations like Kawasemi and Thunder Dolphin, and I even preferred it to Dodonpa. Surf Coaster Leviathan is a borderline top 50 steel coaster for me. The coaster gives a satisfying ride with a bevy of elements. I'm not sure if I just caught this coaster on a good day or not, or if the new trains really made that much of a difference, but no one seems to love this coaster as much as me. I just hope that Surf Coaster is delivering awesome rides like this the next time I return to Japan, because this was easily the biggest surprise of the trip. Though I do have to throw one bit of caution at you. I did hear last year that Surf Coaster had a little bump in the station. And with Japan, little accidents can sometimes cause a ride to close permanently. I believe Surf Coaster has reopened, but just keep tabs on the ride status if you intend to visit Sea Paradise. So those are my thoughts on Surf Coaster Leviathan, the underrated Togo coaster built over the water. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Have you ridden it? I would love to hear what you think about this ride down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like and considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.